Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to work on a mailbox cover. And so I thought actually we had an order for a patriotic mailbox cover and I wanted to show you how we do that. So to start out, I have got some fun red, white, and blue flowers. We've got some blue hydrangeas, red roses, and we've got some white lilies. We have a length of a Christmas garland. So this is a garland that I purchased from I purchased it after season from Walmart, I believe. And what I like to do is I like to use this to hold all my ribbons and my mesh together to lay on the mailbox. I've got it about 3 feet long. We've cut the garland and it's a very inexpensive garland. So it's one that if you purchased it, you would need to certainly put some stuff in it to make it look really nice. But this is just going to be our base. It works perfectly for our base. Now, the first thing I will add is some 21-inch mesh. So this is just a red mesh. It doesn't have a sparkle in it or anything. I'm just going to take that mesh. I'm actually going to lay it on the floor because I find it's easier. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to gather it in my hands just like this, okay? I'm going to move my flowers to the side over here. I am going to lay it right at the bottom of my garland. And I am going to take the end of that garland and I am just going to twist that greenery right around that mesh. I'm going to take the mesh, gather it again, just kind of in my hands, just like that. And I'm kind of made a poof. See how I kind of just made it? I just gathered it in my hands and lay it right onto that garland again, making kind of a little poof on the garland, twist it with that greenery. And you're going to continue to do exactly the same thing all the way down the garland. Now, if you want the garland really full, you can add 2 strips of this mesh, or you can just add 1. But you'll just gather that material and tie it off with that little piece of greenery from the garland, okay? Really, very easy. Next, I'm going to take my good scissors and I'm going to cut that mesh. Okay? So here is our first strip of material or mesh in our mailbox cover. Next, what I'm going to do, I tell you, I believe that one of our customers had this in her closet and she brought it to us and gave it to us and said, please use it. It is a red, white, and blue. It's kind of a mesh type or almost even a gauzy type material, but it has sequins, kind of a red, white, and blue sequin. I don't know if you can see it, but it picks up the light beautifully. Now, it's probably not quite 21 inches in width. It's not quite as wide as this. It's probably more like 18 inches in width. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to gather that material just like this, and I'm going to lay it right into this garland, and I'm going to tie it off exactly like I did the original mesh. Just gather it and tie it. Now, I just thought this would add a beautiful red, white, and blue to our mailbox cover. Again, I am not exactly sure where she got that from. It's a Walmart.com. It's decorative mesh, 10 feet in length. Walmart.com. It's 18 inches in width and 10 feet in length. But I think it came from a year or so ago. So, and it was $5 at Walmart. So I don't know if they have it this year, but it would be worth looking into to see. Because it really is pretty. Now it sheds a little bit, so it's a little messy. taking my scissors, I'm just going to cut it. All right, so I'll show you what that looks like. So there's our blue sequin kind of added in. And so it's going to go on the mailbox about like that. Next, we're going to add some bows, and y'all should see the glitter that came off of it. I mean, just a handful of glitter. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to add some pretty ribbons. So I have this red and white striped ribbon. I believe that it came from the craft outlet, but it's a pretty red and white stripe. I thought we would run that through it. We also have a royal blue and white polka dot ribbon that I thought would be a perfect added touch. So I just went with patriotic colors. We have a plaid that is, or a gingham check, red, white, and blue. Gingham check. So whatever ribbons you like, go ahead and gather those ribbons. Now let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this wide ribbon. I'm going to cut about a 10-inch strip, 10 or 12-inch strip. And I'm going to gather it just kind of like I did my mesh. I'm going to take my gingham check, red, white, and blue, gather it. And then I also have, and I believe this came from Walmart too, I'm not positive. It's just a burlap ribbon. I think it was donated the same time I got the sparkly mesh. We love hand-me-downs here. And so I thought I would just take just a strip of the stars and cut it. Now I'm just going to gather them, lay one on top of the other and just gather them. The wonderful part about these ribbons is they do all have a little bit of a wire. So they crinkle pretty good. I'm just going to gather those and I'm just going to tie them right into this garland where I have cinched my mesh onto my garland. So just gather it together using one of those, the pieces of greenery, and just lay it right onto that garland. And again, you can put as much ribbon or as little ribbon as you want. You do not have to make it this fancy if you don't want to. But you'll just cut as many strips as you'd like and tuck that right in. And you're just tying it using a little twist tie with that garland. And then just take that ribbon and just kind of separate it so you can see all those fun colors. Got a lot of those sequins everywhere. I'm going to do that one more time down here at this end. And then we're going to tie a pretty bow for the center and then add our flowers. So you can see I'm just kind of layering ribbon. Just kind of laying those ribbons on top of each other just like that and gathering it together. I'm not wiring it or anything. I'm just using my greenery on my garland to tie it on. And you just twist it really good in there so that it'll stay. Very, very simple. Okay, I'm going to hold that up and show you that. So you can see where I just kind of tucked those ribbons right in. All right, next we're going to figure out where's our center. So our center's about here. So I may move this one so that we can put a big bow here because it's kind of wasted if I leave it there. So I'm gonna move that one for a minute. I'm gonna hold it off for just a second, and we're gonna tie a larger bow and put it in the center. We'll add these somewhere else or use them for another project. Okay, so for my center bow, I think we will start with, we're gonna start with our blue and white polka dot. We may use that as tails. So I'm just taking that blue and white polka dot. It's pretty on one side and not pretty on the other. I'm gonna make a loop, twist, a loop, twist, a loop, twist, a loop, twist. So I've done 4 total loops there, okay? Next we're going to come in with some red. So I have just a solid red. It does have wires, so I'm gonna make those same 4 loops. We'll make a few loops with our plaid or our gingham check, red, white, and blue gingham check. We're gonna just make 2 loops with it. And then I have the red and white striped. We're gonna make a couple loops with it. Okay, and then the ribbons that we cut earlier with the blue and the plaid, I'm laying it right in the center of that bow. So I have the stars and some more stripes and some more plaid. I just laid that right in the center. Now let me show you. I'm just holding it with my fingers, and I'm going to take a piece of wire, and I'm going to lay it right there up underneath my thumb and come around, and I'm going to twist it tight. Okay, there's our loopy bow. Now I'm going to take it and add it to the very center of this garland, and I'm just taking it, and I have that wire. I'm just going to twist it tightly on the back of that garland. Okay, and now we're going to fluff this bow. So just take those loops and just pull them and fluff them. So there is the center. This is what's going to go on top of the mailbox there, okay? So you can see, you can't see that Christmas greenery at all. If you flip it over, you can, but you sure can't see it after all of these pretty ribbons are added in. Now, to finish off this garland, we are going to add a few stems of these blooms, a few stems of flowers. We've got some red, white, and blue flowers. So we've got some blue hydrangeas, some red roses, and some white lilies. I'm going to take my hydrangeas first. I'm going to set all my ribbon to the side. I'm going to take my wire snips and I'm going to trim that stem just a little bit. And I have zip ties to zip tie my flowers in. Now the reason I'm using zip ties instead of glue is because zip ties are going to guarantee it's held. Glue might come loose. Mississippi, it's hot, and so it's hard to keep flowers in place with glue in the heat. So I'm just taking this flower and I'm kind of nestling it down against that garland. And I'm going to take a zip tie. So this is just a zip tie I purchased from Lowe's. Just a black zip tie, you can get them from anywhere. And I am going to zip tie that stem directly to that garland. And you can hear I'm pulling it as tight as I possibly can. Now to guarantee that that flower's not going to slip out, I'm just going to take that stem and I am just bending it up. So it's going to be hard for that stem to come loose. Now I'm going to take my wire snips and I'm going to go ahead and cut that tab out. Okay, so there's a blue hydrangea there. I have another stem of blue hydrangeas. I'm going to trim that stem just a smidge. I'm going to tuck him on the other side. I'm just going to take him and nestle him right down into those ribbons. Take another zip tie and zip tie that flower right into place. Just pull it tight. And the wonderful part about these flowers is they're all on wire, so you can bend them. That stem is wired. And then I'm taking the stem of that flower and I'm bending it right up. So it's going to be hard for it to come loose. Take my wire snips and snip that tab off. Now you can adjust. The wonderful part about that is when you get it out there on the mailbox and you go to attach it, you can adjust all those flowers. So it won't be a problem at all. I'm going to take my red roses, do the same thing. And I'm just kind of nestling those red roses right into that bow, but I'm zip tying it directly to that garland. Be sure to bend that stem upward. And then you're going to fluff that bow, so it won't be a problem at all with it staying into place. Take my other red rose. And then a couple stems of lilies. And you can put as much or as little. Don't feel like you have to follow any kind of recipe. Use what you have. If you've got some of this fun stuff at home, use what you have and just make it fun. It's the same thing with any kind of mailbox garland. If you will use a faux greenery garland, you're going to find that it works the best. It's the easiest way to put one of these together. And if you want to go about gluing all of this, you certainly can. I just know that I want it to stay together and not have to worry about anything coming loose, the glue coming apart. Okay. Cut that tab. And again, you can add as much or as little as you'd like, but here is our mailbox garland for the 4th of July. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about how we put this together or where I picked up the supplies, don't hesitate to ask that down below in the comments. We're happy to answer that question. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July and a great summer. We'll see you all real soon. Thanks, guys.